Hey guys, the section of violence here again. We're gonna have PFL coming up, I think on Friday. Let's get right into it. So we got, I think number 7. This is what we're on. To start, we have Kevin Pease versus Nick Mech. Nick Mech, he's he's okay. His main goal is to take you down and smother you. He's kind of like a Walmart version of Pease. If you look at his wins, he beat 7-3 Austin Clem. He lost to JP St. Louis. He beat, Brexton Everett, bum. Jared McLaughlin, bum. Marcus Inrugio, like, guy hasn't really beat anybody. And if you look at his wins in the amateur, it's like great, good for you. You beat some decent guys. Like he's not a bad fighter. The Raven Baxter is a BKFC fighter now. Like he has a pretty sus record, but like he's not terrible. Like I'm not saying he's terrible. He's just not at the level of Kevin Pease. Kevin Pease is a prospect from I believe what's the gym called now? Um what's the gym called now? I want it's not Sanford. It's Killcliff. Yeah, something like that. But I think Kevin Pease trains there now. He beat CJ Fergola, a decent wrestler. Um, Other than that, his wins obviously aren't the greatest. He has a loss to Ashton Kirby, so he has a loss. I just think Kevin Pease has more on the feet. He has more power. I think he's gonna win the fight. Obviously, I'm not telling anyone to bet this fight. This is a bit of a sus fight to bet. Um, I just think Kevin Pease is gonna win. Maybe he gets into a firefight and gets caught. Maybe he gets taken down, smothered, out wrestled. I don't know, but I just think he's a level above Mr. Mech. And maybe I'm wrong, but this is what I'm seeing in tape. So I'm gonna go with Kevin Pease by decision. Moving on, we have Anthony Ivy versus Jalil Willis. Interesting fight. I lean Anthony Ivy just because I think if Jalil Willis doesn't keep it on the feet, which I expect him to try. I don't know, man. Like like it's a hard fight to call because if Ivy has a striking mainly game plan, I know he's gonna look to try to get him to the ground, but Willis is decent, take down defense, decent wrestler. So he's gonna be hard to take down. Ivy's wrestling isn't amazing, but his jiu-jitsu is really good. Um, I think if he gets to the ground, I feel like he can finish the fight. He's, in my opinion, the superior grappler. But will Willis take it to the ground? That is what I'm wondering. Um, Mr. Willis, let's see what we got here. He's only lost to like Ramzan is a champ. Cedric is going to be a champ. Absolute savage. He lost to Sabah Hamasi, not a good look. Berkmanov was lost by guillotine choke. Definitely could see a path to victory for Ivy, but I'm honestly going to stay off this one. This is a big pass spot for me. I just think there's so many ifs, and I don't bet ifs. I try to avoid ifs as much as possible. Moving on, we have Dedric Sanders versus Sergio Casio. Pretty straightforward matchup. Dedric Sanders is not at the level of Sergio Casio. Dedric Sanders lost to Luis Pena. He beat Angel Alvarez by TKO, which is a pretty decent win. He has some decent finishes, but other than that, he's lost to Terrence McKinney. He's lost to Zach Zane. Like these are terrible losses. Um, Jonathan Pierce isn't the greatest loss, but he's decent. Honestly, like it's all depending on what you're taking into account here in this fight. But I don't know, man. I definitely wouldn't take this fight. Like I wouldn't bet this fight. I think. Wait. sorry, sorry, I misspoke. You should bet this fight. I definitely would bet this fight, but you know, I'm gonna let you know which side, obviously, in the Discord. I think it's pretty obvious, but uh, well, if you guys can't read between the lines, that's on you. Sergio Casio is, in my opinion, the better fighter by far. It's if he gets caught on the feet, if he dies, he dies. One of those situations. I think he's going to get to the ground and out grapple him. I'm going to go with Sergio Casio. He looked okay on the feet versus Romero, so he trains at a good gym, Extreme. So I'm going to go with Sergio Casio, but he could get chin, but I doubt it. Let's look at his record. Has he been chin before? Not really. Only I think one time back in 2015. Like he's pretty I'd say resilient. He took some big shots from Romero, so I'm gonna go with Casio here. Pretty confident. I'll be confused if he loses. Moving on, we have Cody Law versus Zachary Hicks. Zachary Hicks is who? Who again? Like Zachary Hicks has absolutely not one credible win. Um, all of his losses are like whatever. Nathan Kelly's not a bad loss. Um, Reginald Adams is like whatever. Like these are just his career is not at the level of Cody Law. Cody Law isn't great, but he's fought some good guys. He's at least a solid wrestler, trained with good guys. You know, Edwin Chavez, he beat Pontes. I thought Pontes would cause him a lot more problems. He beat him dominantly. Took Lencioni to a split decision. He's lost to veterans like James Gonzalez. Um, really tough fight to call. Just joking. Law is gonna probably wrestle Mr. Hicks to a decision win. I got Cody Law here. I'm pretty confident. I don't see him blowing this one. If he does, then whatever. He's on a different list. Moving on, we have Alexei Pregande versus Daniel Behold. Pregande should win, but but Pregande is very fraudulent. He can be chin. He trains at a good gym, but he needs some talent, decent grappling. But for the most part, he's very fraudulent, and he will have his day. I just don't think Daniel Ball is the guy to do it. Gonna go with Alex Pregande, and I'd probably line him negative 300, negative 400. Um, moving on. We have get this quick and over with for you guys. Sergey Bilistoni versus Tyro Fortune, two bomb heavyweights. Or not bomb, sorry, mid heavyweights. Sergey Bilistoni showed his cardio is very questionable. Um, he's very dangerous. He was winning the fight. I think Sergey wins this fight. He's gonna chin Tyro Fortune as long as he doesn't do any illegal shots like he did last time. I think he wins this fight. But it's a heavyweight fight, so I'm not touching it. Obviously, yeah, especially how he looked his last fight. He did not look good. Yeah, definitely a fight I have no interest in betting. But if I had to, if you put a gun to my head, I would lean Sergey, of course. That's because of the last fight. Moving on. Liz Carmouche taking on Talia Santos. Talia Santos. I've been riding with the Carmouche side for a long time. I feel like if Talia Santos doesn't get taken down, she is gonna have some success. I feel like she's the better striker. She's younger. She's in her prime. I'm gonna go with Talia Santos here. Liz Carmouche is 40 years old. She's beating girls like Deanna Bennett, Elimele, Juliana Velasquez. Juliana Velasquez is pretty good, but other than Juliana Velasquez, I think Talia Santos is levels above all these girls, and she's levels above, in my opinion, Velasquez when it comes to grappling. So I think she'll be all right. I think Santos will win the fight. Maybe send Carmouche to retirement. Who knows? I think Talia Santos wins this fight. I think she wins with staying on the feet, using her reach. She takes it to the ground with Carmouche. It's her own fault, and she deserves to lose. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Talia Santos here. I think she's just the younger, more prime fighter. Moving on, we have Oleg Popov versus Linton Vassell. So Vassell, the thing with Vassell, I respect his game, and honestly, he could pull it off as an underdog. He's very dangerous. He's hit hard. He's used to dealing with the Fedor guys. He just beat Moldavsky again for in the trilogy, so he probably has a pretty big high with the Russians. I think Popov's an unathletic Russian, but he can wrestle. I'm gonna go with Popov, but honestly, Vassell could pull off an upset, and I wouldn't be surprised. Vassell's heavy-handed, and his experience. The problem is Vassell is 41, so I cannot trust him at this age. But I'm definitely gonna go with Popov, but I'm not betting on this fight. It's just too volatile for me. Moving on, we have Dakota Ditcheva versus Jenna Bishop. Jenna Bishop is probably the toughest opponent Ditcheva's faced as far as credentials go. She's a multiple-time jiu-jitsu champion. I think grappling, if this gets to the ground, Ditcheva's in trouble. I think Jenna Bishop, I don't know if she's physical enough to get Ditcheva to the ground. So, of course, my prediction will be Ditcheva. But betting-wise, I wouldn't touch this fight unless you're doing dogger pass or submission Bishop because Ditcheva has beat girls that aren't the greatest. Hackett, um, Maldine. Like she's beat girls like that. Skatizi, like it is what it is. But Bishop by far is the best grappler out of all of the girls she's faced. So if Ditcheva doesn't smoke her, I think and get her not get taken down, I think Jenna Bishop can make this interesting. But yeah, I'm gonna go Ditcheva obviously, but be careful. Moving on, we have Dennis Goltsov versus Tim Johnson. So I'm obviously gonna go with Dennis Goltsov. Tim Johnson is, you know, he's a relatively older guy, 39 years old. Uh, Still carries a knockout punch, obviously, very dangerous. Um, Decent experience. The problem is he is lost to Linton Vassell by TKO, Fedor Emelianenko by TKO, and Dennis Goltsov is very, very dangerous. So I think he can finish the fight anywhere. And I don't know if Dennis will look to wrestle because of Tim's wrestling background, but I do think Goldsov will look to strike, and I think he could find the KO and get Tim Johnson out of there. Even take him down in ground and pound to a win. I'm gonna go with Dennis Goldsov here. I'm pretty confident in Goldsov. Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Now, if I can give you guys my top five picks for this card, it would be Ditcheva, number one. Number two, Casio. Number three, Cody Law. Number four, Dennis Goldsov. And number five, Pergande. Alrighty, guys. If you want to like, subscribe, you know the drill. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.